Hi, this is Brad Linder with Liliputing, and this is the Saygus V2, which is a smartphone with a Qualcomm Snapdragon 801 processor, a 1080p display, 3 gigs of RAM, and 64 gigs of built-in storage. But what makes it unusual is that it's got a removable back cover. You can replace the battery. Underneath, you'll find that there's 2 micro SD card slots, so you can add currently up to 200 gigs in each slot for a total of 464 gigs of storage. It's got 2 SIM card slots as well. And it's a phone that we actually have been seeing for a while. They were showing it off last year at CES, but here we are in 2016 and it hasn't shipped yet. And there's a couple of reasons for that. So I'm here with Chad Sayers from Saygus, and what's the plan now? When's it going to ship?
Brad, we're working on shipment. That we're behind because we've got our new team now, that we have our own manufacturers, our own production team that's actually setting up the production. So we're expecting to do that this quarter, hopefully sooner. We've got some great news coming with the phones this week, so we'll be here tomorrow. And those will be our production phones that we did ourselves, which is really great. It takes the heat off us. We don't have to listen to what other people tell us. We actually know what's happening with the phone now instead of outsourcing the final production phase. But we're doing some great stuff with it, turning it into a laptop like no other phone's been, has been able to do before. Editing documents, all kinds of stuff, using the wireless HD, which is recent Forbes called it the most disruptive innovation of 2015.
And we can see that right here. It's mirroring the display on the phone and on the TV. We've got a Bluetooth mouse and keyboard plugged in, so you can use it to edit documents, watch videos, and so forth wirelessly. Now, in terms of the shipping it this quarter, again, when it was announced, it had, one of the best processors available, it had the most RAM, had the best screen.
Right.
Now, some of those features aren't necessarily as cutting edge, but you still think that it stands out. Why is that?
Well, there's really not anybody taking an active role in what we've already put on the market. It's such a quantum leap in technology for what we're doing, and it's just, there's nobody out there even attempting. So you notice there isn't anybody doing really much of what we've already done.
Like
we announced a year ago, like the wireless HD, like the side swipe scanner, like the dual micro SD card slots, which give you almost half a terabyte of memory, like dual ambient light sensors, like the waterproofing that makes it a washable, not just a swimmable device, which is great in case you spilled chocolate on it or whatever.
All right, I gotta help.
The other kind of features that people really love, like the 21 megapixel camera, the 13 megapixel camera, are just huge with optical image stabilization. It's really unheard of. And then to put all that together and have a sunlight viewable screen with, in addition to that, a 50% battery saving chip, we just wonder, why anybody. It's been announced for a year that we're putting this stuff on a phone. Last year we couldn't even demonstrate the wireless HD. We've got that down, been through 2 manufacturers. We're really at a place now where we control the destiny of what the phone does and where we're going with it and how soon it will be finished. And so we're getting some details done, and we'll be able to be far more active in knowing what's happening with our own devices instead of outsourcing, because we have our own team building it. And that's a huge thing. It makes a big difference simply because we've been the mercy of other people telling us when it's going to be finished, amongst their other customers, right, that they're also building phones for, who have a lot more money than us and can pay a lot more money up front than we might be able to for components, and promise more, up front too for total sales.
Okay, so this first one, it went out for pre-order last year. A small number of people already placed those orders. They'll be getting theirs among the first.
That's right.
People sometime later this quarter will be able to order theirs for about $600, $650, you said. And then you said you're already looking ahead towards the next phone. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we don't want to spill the beans on that, but there are some other really cool features. That's going to be a year away. Really, it's going to probably be ready for Christmas, is what we expect. Again, our own team has just proven themselves out, phenomenal. I want to talk. Brad mentioned something you talked about. The V Squared really has that 801 processor in it. There's a reason for it. We talked about it a minute ago, and if you look at the 805, it's just nothing. The 808, it's not significant upgrades. The 810 is to a certain degree, but there are so many issues with it. The 820 is really the next one. We've talked with our Qualcomm advisors. We've discussed it with Qualcomm engineers themselves, some of their senior executives, as far as not executive, but senior engineers. And they've made it very clear, listen, the best thing to do is keep the 2.5 gigahertz quad cores, not octa core. But it smokes, and competes very well with everything else out there. I guess we're going to plug the battery and we'll get running. But it's one of those kind of things that if you really do recognize the value of a well-working processor and a phone that does the stuff you want to do, we're not switching because we can't do it. We're not switching because we're being told by experts who build Qualcomm chips that it's really the best thing they've ever had out there, and there was no reason for us to move to the 810 because of the issues initially. So we'll move to the 820 on the next version of our phone. But this is a great phone. This 801 processor is still a very expensive processor, by the way. I see the bottom line price. And it's expensive because Qualcomm knows that it's a great processor. It's the most highly decorated and most awarded smartphone processor that they've ever made, and that comes straight from one of their executives. So we just can't see a reason to switch it. We want a great performing phone. We don't care if it says that it's a 610, you know, compared to an 801. And the numbers go down if it performs great and it does what it's supposed to do. You know, you got a core processing thing that says it's supposed to be better, but they're working out bugs, or at least some of the software issues on those things. We don't want to be part of that development process. We just want people to get a great smartphone that they don't have to wonder why it's not working right. How come this isn't working and that's not working? I bought this phone, paid all this money for it. So we'll let other people take those risks, and we'll continue to build this great phone with a 2.5 gigahertz processor speed that is outstanding. And with all the memory that we have and the capability with that nearly half a terabyte of storage, it just makes it easy for people to decide, hey, if I'm going to drop down, you know, $500, $600, $700, $800 for a phone, why not get one that has 15 amazing features that no smartphone has in it today?
And just to take a look at one or two of those features here. So here's the phone itself, and if we take a look at the back, you can see that it's got this Kevlar coating. And can you show me what it looks like when you take that off?
Yeah, sure. So the Kevlar is really cool because it decreases the weight of it pretty substantially. And you've got obviously multiple antennas for the world phone capability of the device. You can use it anywhere you go. You've got the SD card slots. You've got the micro SD card, or the SIM card slots at the same time, which gives you the memory, and then of course SIM card for giving you at least two different plans. It could be two different networks or the same network with two different plans, whatever you want to do. 3100 megapixel battery plus the 50% battery savings chip, which is, you know, in its class there's nothing that competes, close to 4,600 milliamp hours. So it just blows the competition away as far as battery life is concerned. And the other features combined together, it's certainly worth $1,000 as a phone. And if the quality of the build that we're expecting, that consumers expect, we've got to give consumers what they expect, and that's good quality. We don't want to build something that we're going to regret, that even big companies have made mistakes doing, putting something out they should have put out before it's time. It's better just to make sure it's done right before we make a mistake and that we're going to regret. We'd rather announce it's still delayed, and then say, hey, the phone is ready, and I mean, we mean it's ready, and when we say that, people are going to say, ship that baby, because we know it must be really ready if they've been that meticulous about quality, and that's our issue. The quality has got to be there, because our customers are going to demand it, we expect it, and that's why we got rid of 2 of our manufacturing partners this year, and just brought our own team in.